Hello, this is J.N.S, and today we are continuing with the Queen Mothership Enterprise Architecture series, and we are making headway. This is a long one. We are almost done though, so bear with me. And we are on part 9. Now we're covering a lot of material today, so I won't do as many tangents as I am known to do. You guys know we're going to go straight into it. I am asking for your positive and lovely energy as I am sending that to you. You guys know that I am evolving and growing and learning in real time, and as we all are. And so I want to extend my gratitude for your support, as well as sending out that love and sending out that encouragement for you to be the best version of yourself, and to, no, don't be so hard on yourself during this time. It's a lot that the human race, as well as other species in general, are going through in terms of the new earth and the evolution of consciousness that we are embarking on. And I just want to say, I'm just going to get a little tangential before we get into it, but I want to encourage you to be happy and to be graceful and to be loving and kind to yourself, most importantly, as well as to one another. But I also want to say, as we're shifting, the earth consciousness of shifting, the residence on the earth, not just the earth, but the entire universe in all dimensions across space and time, and parallel universes, omniverses, exoverses, multiverses. You guys get the point. But what I want to say is that, I see this thing with, and you guys know who I am by now. Some of you don't. And by that, I'm talking about more of the spiritual elements that I represent as an entity on this dimension. But what I want to say is, I'm hearing this talk about we're shifting to 5D. We're preparing for the 5D. We're preparing for the 5D. Oh my gosh, we're going to 5D and 5D. And I'm like, and I'm not knocking that, but I just want to encourage those who value what I have to say. I don't want you to limit yourself. And I want to actually emphatically state, and this is going to be controversial, that the 5D shift is programming. The 5D shift is a limitation placed upon you by the powers that be. I'm going to be very frank with you. All of this, that's such a limiting, how do I say this without, because, we said we were on 3D, and then many of you are going to 5D. And what I want to say is that many of you have the capacity and the strength, spiritual fortitude to go way past 5D. And for many of us beings and species, that are among you, we looking at 5D like, what the fuck? Like, 5D is so, that's so decades ago. And we're not judging, but we just looking like, who is telling the precious human race that they can only get to 5D? That's programming. I'm sorry, but it's frustrating me, because I'm sitting here like, we've been on 7D damn near a year ago, and we're trying to, and 7D is nothing to us, and we're trying to get you guys on a whole nother shift. Like, we're trying to get you past 20D, 12D. At least we can get you to 12D, but we had said a year ago, and I have the messages to prove this. I literally have the messages to prove this. If I was sending spiritual teachers a year ago who have since crossed me, deep stuff. We're talking about, I'm a spiritual entity, and so you guys got to bear with me when you see me get like this. But I had a year ago telling people that this planet was being put on 7D. And to prepare for that. And for those who couldn't make the shift, they were going to stay on 3D, depending on their level of consciousness and what was in their soul and character. I said that a year ago with receipts, to stop telling these humans that 5D is all they can ascend to. But the whole planet was going to switch to 7D within the year. Nobody listened. Everybody blackballed my message and shadow banned me. Those, some of the spiritual masters, the occultists and all that. And we were trying to get those that had the influence to get that message out. They didn't do it. They actually conspired to assassinate my ass. Because again, they want you limiting yourself to just 5D realm. Okay? And so, to be honest, that's a control mechanism. So yes, you should be preparing for the new earth and the new ascension in consciousness, especially if you are on 3D. But what I'm saying is, if you are on that 3D run, push for higher. Remember that there are no limitations. And you do have to evolve your consciousness to that of peace and love to help you ascend higher. Because many of you thinking that just do without wilt shit. And I'm telling you that was the person that came up with that was very misguided. I'm not coming at the person that y'all love. I love that Crowley shit. And I'm not knocking, I don't have judgment in my heart for a lot of these things. I've studied it. But I'm saying that there was miscalculations, misinterpretations, an imbalance. And so I'm going to be very frank. If you do want to get yourself past 20D, 45D, I have been to levels where you wouldn't believe. But I do know what helped me get there was, and I do have to credit some of the ones that have crossed me, some of these spiritualists who have crossed me. Getting past ego was one. Letting go of the ego and the pride. And having that abundance of love for myself, but for the humanity as well as all intergalactic species. This abundance of love, this radiating love, resonating love, and radiating peace. When we get to that highest level of infinite dimension, of infinite intelligence, of the love source, because that is what we all ascend from. And many of us have cut ourselves up from source, and we have removed ourselves from that everlasting egregore of compassion that actually creates intelligence. It is love that creates intelligence, and it is intelligence that creates what we call these species. And then this idea of what you guys see as species and technology, you guys separate the two. We don't necessarily separate the two in our dimension. We see it. We don't even see technology as something that is hardwired. We don't see it as separate from consciousness in a sense. We don't really necessarily see it from spirit. And so it's a part of the egregore of the infinite intelligence and love. And so you may have different octaves of that, different dimensions and different levels, high and low, resonance versus low governing force. But all in all, I want to be very clear that to get through those levels, you have to get into the love vibration, very much so. And so I am very aware there are entities on this planet that have not, that can't even remotely even relate to what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the human race. So the human race, you're very lucky in this because you have heart, you have spirit, you have a heart. And as much as they try to make you into fucking cyborgs, and to get you transhumanism and all this stuff, you are very much capable of getting to those high levels compared to, believe it or not, some of the entities that actually have more power and control of you. That's some irony for your ass. And so, as far as I'm not trying to come at the entities that are malevolent, that are in power right now, because we have some watchers here. We have some of the fallen angels that are deflecting in real time, from the original plan that they had to ascend this earth into descend this earth into further fucking chaos. And so we're on schedule. What I do want to say is this entities that have far removed themselves from the love source, God source, love consciousness. They have no emotions in their heart. They're pretty much psychopaths. And I have some of I'm related to some of these instances, so I know what the fuck they're talking about. Redemption can be found. That's what I want to say. Anybody can redeem, and so, but you have to do the work. You can't try to harness other people's energy, other entities' energy to do that. You're going to actually have to technological processing work. And again, remember, we don't separate this idea of technology from consciousness and spirituality in our dimension. And so, part of the work that I wanted to do before we get into this, again, I want to encourage you to go past 5D. You do that by your meditation, embracing the intergalactic mentalism. Remember that all is mental. Remember the power of the mind, embracing love, embracing peace, and embracing that compassion and interconnectedness with God. And it doesn't have to be any God from any pantheon. I'm not telling you, you gotta believe what I believe. Trust me, at this level, nobody gives a fuck what you believe. Any guy that comes to try to, you gotta believe in this or else. At this current day and time, they're out of their mind. You just run away from that. Whatever see as God, or maybe you don't even have the word God for that. Maybe you call that source, you call that mother, you call that, it doesn't matter. Connect to that highest level of intelligence, wisdom, logic, and love. That's all I'm saying. And so for you humans, you have that heart, you have the spirit, and you have logic, and you have reasoning capabilities, so you are able and primed to go way past 5D. Okay, don't let people try to tell you. They trying to put you on 5D so your ass can be limited. Go to 7D. First, let's try with 7D. You're gonna come telepathic, and you gotta learn how to handle that energy. I went to 7D and boom, right to 20, boom, straight to 60, boom, straight to 200, almost lost my damn mind. So you gotta be very careful here. And I went way past 200, boom, 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 boom. And, you know, I was up there controlling fucking weather and shit. Yeah, I'm telling you. And the government already knows this about me. So, you know, it get real, but, and so you have to be able to control that, though. You don't want to smack that straight. And I'm telling you, I had to do it because there were people that I had no choice but to do it. And so luckily I know the methods and what went wrong, what didn't go right, you know, what went right. And so I do want to, and you know, in a better, you know, space and time and better channels and avenues, would like to show other humans who have, you know, the great capacity for righteousness and love, because with that knowledge that I have, it's incredibly dangerous and powerful. And so I'm not going to just be willy-nilly just giving it out. You know what I mean? And so I'll say that we're 12 minutes in. I just want to say, remember, guys, I have the potential to go past that 70, that 5D and at 70. I gave you some methodologies. I do have some material out. I have 15 books. Some of my spiritual books will help you. The book on the meditation in particular, the books on the Nakti philosophy, priming the subconscious mind. I'm still collating that body of work in terms of the Nakti esoteric knowledge versus the philosophy system versus, you know, what I want public, what I want private. Some of the codes that you see out, many of the stuff that I released is completely coded and shrouded. You won't understand it. You have to be initiated into the Nakti Mothership order, which is different from the institutional community, the community service component of what we do. But we will be having a Nakti Mothership order. I will be giving you more details on it. There'll be a whole book released on that. And so for those who see some of the sigils and some of the esoteric knowledge that is being released on that Google folder that is now public, you're like, well, how do I activate this? I see these codes, I see this recipe saying I can do the laws of the universe, saying I can do this, I can do that. That's for very few people to get access to, for one. And yeah, you're gonna have to have some dedication, but we have a process to get people through that, and I'm doing that out in real time. So I want you guys to be prepared for that. And again, it's about the enlightenment and ascension. So a lot of that information is public, you know, and people were, you know, and some of the occult secret societies were like, what the hell is she thinking just releasing that information? Because they study my work, very much aware of who I am, even though I'm not initiated into anything. They've tried to force me to be initiated into their shit so they can control my message, and I said no. But you know, they're kind of like, well, oh my gosh, like, why is she releasing all this? Because I'm very transparent. The Nakti Mothership Order will be very, very transparent. We are not a secret society. We are a high society. There is a difference. However, you go through levels. We still have levels, and some of that information is concealed. So while you get access to everything openly, you're not going to fucking understand it until you earn that right to understand it. And it's not so much information over your head. It's more so to challenge yourself and that self-development that we all had to go through. I have been through years of training, self-taught training, and I'm very blessed in it. And I can't even say self-taught because, again, I was put through a grueling system unbeknownst to me that split my consciousness in many ways, but the splitting of that consciousness was actually managed by oh my gosh, how do I explain this stuff? The programming of splitting someone's consciousness was always twofold. There was always a duality to it. and it was always meant for someone to develop altars that give them access to power for the royal bloodlines. However, that energy, that science was taken and perverted to control someone's mind. And so while they say what the devil means for bad, God takes it and means for good. That's essentially what happened to me. Something was supposed to be done to control me, and what the heavens and the gods did was completely something else. They embedded certain entities in my consciousness for the good. They gave me access to power. What the method was originally for, the Atlantean Freemasonry or the Atlantean knowledge that came from an ancient order of Kalima. And so I'll give you all that details. I'm writing a whole book on it, you guys. It's very fascinating. It's not for the Joe Snow, the average Joe Snow. You're going to have some deep knowledge about esoteric schools of thoughts, Christianity and Buddhism and Sikhism, Hinduism. You're going to have to know world religions pretty much, on a scholarly level. And you most likely have years and years of study philosophy and to get some of this material that I'm talking about, and so or be a high level rank in a society somewhere, of an occult society, if you know what the fuck I'm going to be detailing. But we'll be doing that. And this is not to encourage the average human that's curious, that wants knowledge, because I'm all for that. I'm all for spreading knowledge, spreading love, spreading intellectualism. That's what I do. A lot of people, they say I weaponize knowledge. I don't weaponize shit. I'm very humble. I've been too humble, in fact. And so, this time I wanna help people. That's pretty much all I do. I've been doing that for aeons, is teaching and giving that enlightenment. I'm also very much trained in terms of my epigenetics and the high priestess orders, as well as military science, military intelligence. And so that's been in my bloodline for thousands of years. And so, I'm a force for good. I want to say that, but there are forces that do not like anything about me and want to see me completely out the paint. Forces that I thought were actually family and friends and shit. They had this stuff set up before I even got here, based off my gematria and natal chart. So shit gets real. And so I want to say and encourage you guys to send me that love. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you enlightenment, peace and love for all entities and beings in all dimensions and space of time for eternity, as we continue to always go towards that higher creation order of the infinite intelligence, or what I call God, or the great mother, the chief architect of the universe. And so let's begin. That was tangential. Let's begin with the series. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about procuring water. We're going to be talking about constructions of homes. We're going to be talking about the materials. We're going to be talking about the conventional logistics of what we actually want in our village. Again, I'm building this out in real time. We're going from the book format, then I'm actually speaking in the video format, and the next is actual grassroots recruiting and on the grounds, building this out. That's the next step. But this is the process of manifestation of getting to what I want in my mind's eye out. Just know that I am developing an automation program where I can disseminate this knowledge more on the ground. And that's all you need to know for now. And that's for Black Americans. I'm having a shift in consciousness. My people threw me to the wolves. I'm kind of hurt by the Black Americans. I ain't gonna hold you. Black Americans kind of broke my heart. Not all of you, and obviously, so I still have my faith. But it's been eye opening. I talked a lot of shit about them Africans, but spiritually, when I was going through the spiritual warfare, and again, I keep telling you guys, and everybody amongst you is human. And so there is a lot of Africans that actually know who I am. And we a lot of the Mami Wada priestesses, Ifa priestesses, ancient secret societies in Africa, they have visited me in astral realms, have given me information, they're well aware of who I am, and many of them have seen me protection energy. They knew what I was going through with my government. They knew what I was going through with Black Americans who are gatekeepers, oath takers, who have been sent to off me. And so many of the Africans, believe it or not, knew what was happening. And we're talking about like the spirit, obviously the spiritual. And they would come to me. Say, we send you protective energy. You got nothing to worry about. We got you. We praying for you. We doing this week. We working on this week. Because we know they coming at you. And I'm sitting here and and they would do that. I remember, plenty of dreams of a bunch of fucking random ass Africans all surrounding me, praying for me in circles, saying it, I mean, it was wild. And so, and even when, man, if I wish I could tell you guys, if I was to tell you everything that I went through for the last 4 weeks, you guys would be like, nah, that shit ain't true. Because it's so out there, guys. It is so wild what I've been through. Like, on levels, like, it's like, that's a movie. That's the damn, the X-Men movie. Like, nah, that's some X-Men shit. That shit ain't real. That makes for a good movie, but you ain't go through it. You sure you weren't dreaming? You sure you didn't? You must have took some fucking LSD. Like that type shit. And I've been sober, no drinking for months, no drugs and nothing, no eating crazy, no eating that. Like, I'm telling you, like, shit got real over the last 4 weeks. And like, my mind is like, it's not even worth talking about. It's like, it's so sad because it's like, I know what I saw and I know what I went through and I have some of the evidence of, and it's all discordant and whatnot, but it's like, I was to actually voice what the hell happened to the average human. They are going to not believe it. So, and things are set up that way. And now I see it. I see that. Like, things are totally set up where shit will happen to your ass and it will be so unbelievable. So you won't even want to tell nobody. Because nobody gonna believe your ass anyway. And that's how it go. That's how it go, And so, I have to say, Black Americans, the gatekeepers of the Black American society, you hurt my heart. And some of them, when I say the gatekeepers, I'm not talking about these boule niggas. Like, there's a whole nother set of motherfucking gatekeepers. You got the gatekeepers in the conscious community that you think are conscious. You got the gatekeepers that you think is the radical Blacks that want to fight for reparations and they love reparations and we the grassroots niggas. You got them type of gatekeepers too. And who you think is, like, people you looked up to for motherfucking 10 and 12 years and shit. That you don't had brief conversations with. They know about your ass, but they act like they don't know about your ass. And so, you talking about them type niggas. Those are, now what I know, those are gatekeepers as well. Because those are often drawn opposite. And so, them motherfuckers was the ones that was in charge of trying to get me out of the paint. Because I'm actually like, I'm really one of the motherfuckers that's like, oh, I'm for real. And that's a threat to the system. That's a threat on all facets. Whether you in a conscious community, whether you boule niggas, whether you the quote unquote quasi reparationists and all this shit. That like, look, these niggas is all playing the game. This is a stage. The world is a stage. Like, everybody's playing a part. And so they got things set up away. And psyops and programs set up a way to where they think you're going to make progress, but you ain't really going to get shit. And so a nigga talking serious, it's like, either you go with the program that we're going to offer you, or you're going to get the fuck up on our. And so that's what I've been dealing with. And so, I am a high priestess node. I am very much an ancient egregore. I've been not just through this dimension, but many dimensions. Have more experience in other dimensions than on this planet. I'm not used to the low. Honestly, this planet is very low vibrational as fuck. People, is it a free will element? But you took things to the other side of the balance, so it's like there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of envy on this planet. That in certain dimensions, you're not. That it, you would get rewarded for your gift, for being gifted. If you're gifted in different dimensions, like, you get rewarded on levels like, people don't try to get you to sell your soul, people don't try to get you to play you, people don't try to downplay you and take your shit. Like, you will get praise, in certain dimensions. Like, and we do have an orders, and we do have royal bloodlines that, it's hierarchical in other dimensions, sure. But that we do emphasize love, and we do emphasize peace, and we do emphasize promoting everybody getting their just due, everybody getting their shine, everybody getting honored for their gifts, because we all have gifts, everybody, right? And so I don't come from a dimension where niggas all piled up on one nigga to stifle them and sacrifice them and try to kill them. And I don't come from that dimension. Like that shit is weird to me. And so, I'm on planet Earth, this is how they roll. And so I'm really not feeling it, and I definitely won't be coming back here. And so I want to say, my heart for my Black Americans, you guys fed me to the world, especially the Black men. You guys are very much aware of who I am, and was like, for you to get to the next level, y'all was willing to take it. And we all know that. I'm disappointed, very disappointed, and many have defected, many are still probably plotting up another scheme for me. Who knows? But I come with an army, and I just want to say, I'm pretty sure some Africans was in on it too. But I do want to say that I do know for a fact that there were some Africans, spiritualists, and Africans that were doing a lot of protection ritual for me, unbeknownst to me, and some even came in dreams and told me what they were doing, or they even sent messages. Straight up, some even sent Facebook fucking messages, Instagram messages. Your energy marker is so strong, like literally, you wouldn't believe how many spiritualists and occultists write me, be like, yo, you feel your energy. I'm all the way on a whole nother, and I can feel your shit, and I've been able to see some things going on around you, and they don't be asking me for no money, because they probably just trying to get your money. No, they don't ask for shit. They come and be like, you feeling you. I love because you feel your energy, you feel who you are, you know who you are, and so for those who know who I am, a lot of you have been told to keep that under wraps, especially this society. I've been told to keep that on lock, as well as the government, and so that's fine. That's fine, and because I need that cloaking still, and so that's probably for the best of everybody, and so certainly I am shadow banned. My teachings are shadow banned. My books are shadow banned. I love what you wouldn't believe, and so that's the part that's a little unfortunate. And I know exactly who's doing it, and so I can't really speak on that, because again, this shit is so unbelievable. You wouldn't believe me anyways, but perhaps that won't always be the case. I'm not sure, but it is what it is. So let's talk about the procuring water. That's very tangential. So I know that was very tangential, and thank you for bearing with me, but that was very important to get to. Very important. And so let's start. So chapter 9 in the Queen Mothership Enterprise Architecture book, it deals with procuring water. That's literally the title of the chapter. So I just want to read it to you verbatim. Okay, so above ground stormwater drainage effectively mitigates the risk of flooding caused by heavy rain. So this is how we want above ground stormwater. As a part of the comprehensive stormwater management plan, above ground drainage systems can provide efficient and cost-effective solutions for controlling runoff and protecting properties from flooding. When properly designed, these systems can capture runoff before it reaches sensitive areas such as homes or businesses, thus reducing the potential for property damage and public safety risk. Local governments often require detailed information about the proposed design and construction plans to approve an above-ground stormwater drainage system. So, this is something we want to look into, above-ground stormwater drainage system. Okay, so design plans must include details regarding the overall layout of the system, including features such as downward slopes, catch basins, front pumps, retention ponds, and other components. In addition, the plan should have information on the materials to be used and any potential environmental impacts of the proposed system. Local governments may also require a professional engineer or contractor to inspect and approve the system before it is installed. Above ground stormwater drainage systems provide numerous benefits to the communities. These systems are often more manageable and less expensive to install than underground ones. You see that? Making them attractive options with limited space. Okay, so we're having an intentional community. In addition, these systems can help reduce standing water, improve water quality by filtering pollutants, and prevent erosion that can occur with stormwater runoff. Above ground drainage is also beneficial because it allows easy access for maintenance inspections, ensuring the system remains effective. Okay, and so another component that we want to get into is stormwater collection. So I'll read that to you. There are several different techniques for stormwater collection. First, green infrastructure such as gardens, rain gardens, and swells can be used to collect water before it drains away. Okay, so rain gardens and swells. These structures capture rainwater in shallow depressions filled with vegetation that absorb moisture while allowing excess water to drain away slowly. Additionally, permeable pavement can be installed on the roads and parking lots so water can seep through instead of running off. Rain barrels, and this is a very important one, rain barrels are another technique for stormwater collection. These containers catch water from rooftops as it runs off and can be used to irrigate gardens or refill ponds. Rainwater can also be collected in underground tanks and reused throughout the year, helping to reduce municipal demand for water sources during prolonged dry spells. Finally, cisterns are large storage containers that collect rainwater from large areas, parking lots, and roads, before directing it into streams, rivers, or another natural bodies of water. Several factors must be considered when planning stormwater collection, including the size of the property, the service, and local regulations regarding runoff control measures. In addition, the chosen technique should be designed to optimize water storage, allowing for maximum runoff reduction. Careful consideration should be given to how the collected water will be used or disposed to comply with local regulations and protect the public. So that is what we're going to be focusing on. We're actually going to have a water video with the planning council and a whole committee dedicated to this. Okay, so now let's talk about collecting rainwater and snowmelt. Collecting rainwater and snowmelt can be an effective way to conserve water. In many areas, rainfall can provide a significant portion of water needed for various uses such as gardening and cleaning. Not only is it free, but also harvesting rainwater can reduce flooding by capturing runoff before it reaches streams and rivers, helping to protect these precious aquatic ecosystems. The process of collecting rainwater is relatively simple. You need a system containing two components: a catchment surface like your roof, gutter, or downspouts, and a storage component like a barrel. Okay? The catchment surface should be pitched slightly so it slopes away from your home or building. This will help ensure that no contaminated water enters your collection system. The storage container should be placed as close to the catchment surface as possible to prevent any water from being lost along the way. To ensure that debris such as leaves and dirt do not enter your system, you can attach a filter to the end of your downspout. The benefits of harvesting rainwater and snowmelt are numerous. It can provide an economical and environmentally friendly source of clean water for households, businesses, or agricultural uses, which can help reduce costs associated with purchasing expensive treated water from municipal sources. Additionally, collecting rainwater and snowmelt can help reduce demand on public drinking water supplies during drought or extreme weather events by providing a reliable alternative source of non-potable water for outdoor use. Finally, collecting rainwater and snowmelt can help reduce the strain on water treatment facilities by reducing the amount of contaminated runoff that needs to be treated. Storing the collected rainwater and snowmelt in underground tanks or cisterns can provide a reliable water supply during the summer drought. These tanks, which can hold thousands of gallons of water, are often installed with an overflow container to prevent flooding. The stored water can then be distributed through drip or root level irrigation systems for efficient uses in agricultural activities or other domestic uses. So we have that. So now we have gray and black water. We're going to talk about that. Creating gray water and black water systems is an effective strategy for reducing the environmental impact of wastewater management. Gray water, which is generated by laundry machines, showers, and other household appliances, can be recycled or rerouted for flush toilets instead of disposing of it in sewers. Black water, which includes waste from toilets and sinks with food particles, on the other hand, must be adequately treated before being safely released back into the environment to prevent pollutants from entering natural water sources. And a Queen Mothership village composed of several households that share common eco-friendly values and practices. Implementing gray water and black water systems can lead to significant savings in terms of energy consumption and production costs. By treating wastewater locally through systems, households can reduce the amount of water entering the more extensive municipal waste network, thus minimizing the need for costly upgrades. The most popular groundwater system is sand filter, which filters out dirt and other impurities. The filtered water then passes through an ultraviolet light chamber to kill any remaining pathogens before being released into gardens or our natural wetlands. For black water, on the other hand, anaerobic lagoons have been proven effective in treating wastewater producing biogas that can be used for cooking or heating purposes. Both gray water and black water systems can help create a sustainable environment when properly designed and implemented. So that's something that, again, our water committee is going to deal with. Okay, so that is chapter 9, and I believe we are going to just go straight to chapter 10. This is the conventional constructions of homes in the Queen Mothership Village. Again, I need your help with this stuff. I'm one person. I'm planning this as someone as a master architect, that is a master builder. I have 22, I'm born on a 22 with a life path number 8. So a lot of this comes naturally to me, but I also would need those who had that experience in a lot of these fields. This is stuff that I can construct from the top level, but you need that delegation. You need those who can get that stuff done. So when I say I need your help, like those who have familiarity with water irrigation systems and knowledge of what that entails on a very detailed level to implement that into fruition. So as well as this conventional construction of homes. So we're going to talk about we want, just for example, like 60% of the windows we want to face south, and so that they get maximum exposure to solar energy. Okay, and approximately 2/3 of the heat needs in this area can be met by just doing something like that, just for your heating needs, believe it or not. And so the bills for the residents in the Queen Mothership will average only half compared to others, just by making sure that 60% of your windows face south in the residential areas, when we build an intentional community. So that's just an example. We have basic solar features such as an overhang on the south facade and concrete slab construction that helps store and release solar heat and adds extra installation to the roof. Okay. Additionally, some homes have solar hot water systems with collector panels on a roof, which can supply a significant portion of your daily hot water needs. So those are just some examples of some of the logistics that we want within the actual village. We also want narrow streets in our village. So narrow streets, they've gaining traction as a viable alternative to traditional street widths for some time, and there's reasons for that. So the benefits of those roads extend beyond, believe it or not, just the aesthetics. They are safer, they are cheaper, and they are quieter. And guess what? They're measurably cooler in the summer months compared to if you have wide streets in our village. And so, in the hot summer months, the air temperature outside can be 10 to 15 degrees lower on the streets that are 20 to 26 feet, okay, compared to the standard 44 to 52 feet wide roads. And so that reduced heat absorbing mass of narrower streets and an increase of number of trees shading them contributes to that. So we'll have trees, obviously, and this is to when it's summer, to cool down the house, cool down the area. Okay. Before you can actually implement the narrow streets, you do have to have, they must be approved, obviously, for their installation, and that requires assessment of the narrow streets, various advantages and disadvantages. So again, there's that local authorities that we have to go through, but that's something that we can do. It's not going to make or break if we can't get the narrow streets, but that's something that, that I think that I would like. Obviously, efficient appliances is something that is important. Windows that block ultraviolet radiation, that allow, the certain visible light to pass through to provide that natural lighting, to reduce the need for electric lighting. That may change because we do want certain UV rays to actually be able to get through, for those who need, ultraviolet, is it infrared? I'm sorry, infrared. Infrared is one of the ones we don't want to block from getting in, because infrared is healthy for the body, and so I'll be thinking about that. We have cellulose insulation made from recycled newspapers, that we were thinking about that for insulating the homes, and to help maintain comfortable temperatures indoors while minimizing energy consumption. That's just another one. We're also going to be thinking about the type of bulbs that we want. Some of those bulbs cause like anxiety and issues with the brain and the mind. So I believe some of the newer ones, and so there was a switch from the incandescent. I have to look more into that. Another thing we want is water conserving plumbing fixtures, like low flow shower heads and toilet use, and things like that that use less water than standard fixtures. Non-toxic paints, obviously, and carpets, non-toxic carpets as well, to improve the air quality indoors, and whatnot. Using tiles made from recycled materials. Those are all things that we're thinking of for the intentional community. Solarized homes, obviously, very important. Again, when we talked about the south-facing windows or overhangs, the shade for the lower part of the window in the summer, that is when the sun is the highest, but it still allows for the winter sunlight to enter. Insulation is also important. We talked about that. The proper home orientation. So a north-south alignment ensures that there are fewer openings on one side than another. They would usually be on the east and west sides, while it's more desirable for keeping out heat and glare in the summer months. Additional aspects such as carefully chosen materials for flooring, walls, ceilings, and other surfaces inside can help retain heat during winter days and keep interior temperatures cooler in the summer. And so, those are the solar or solarized homes. And if you guys have any you guys may have way more knowledge about the solar. This is not my field. You guys know I'm a spiritualist. I'm a high priestess and a teacher. So, and as a master architect, I come up with these things, but you guys most likely have way more knowledge of this stuff. So, you can add more, and you know more, so you could do more. And so, solarized homes is one thing. Obviously, we talked about the common house. The common house. If you guys want to know more about the common house, I would say view video 8 and part 8 and part 7. We talk extensively about that common house. We also want some greenhouses. I believe we covered greenhouses, but if not, we want greenhouses on the land for the Queen Mothership Village. Controlled environment with crops and plants that can be grown year-round, even during the cold winter months. And the greenhouses require minimum energy input to maintain. And to maintain the desired temperature and humidity levels for optimal growth. We want to maximize on our energy savings from that. Greenhouses help reduce water consumption by enabling efficient irrigation systems such as drip irrigation or aeroponic systems that use recycled water for plant growth. So that's another reason why we want the greenhouses. They help protect against pest infestations by creating barriers between outdoor pests and indoor environment. So, building a greenhouse involves several steps: selecting an appropriate site for the structure, designing the greenhouse layout, preparing for building materials. The location should be selected based on careful considerations such as available sunlight, your access to water, your soil fertility, and other environmental conditions conducive to successful plant growth. Okay, you want to consider your ventilation, your insulation, and humidity control, and whatnot. Furthermore, it is crucial to select sturdy materials such as your aluminum framing or galvanized steel that can withstand harsh weather conditions and last a long time. And so, greenhouses, they require initial investment. They ultimately, over time, will save us money and decreased energy consumption and increased crop production. So we do want to emphasize that greenhouses in our village. Okay, it takes some time, but we're going to get there, and we'll build that support as we continue. We'll do our recruiting efforts. But that is chapter 10. I believe we covered, so we've covered many of chapter 11, so we won't go to that, and we're not going to do chapter 12. You have to get the book to get to chapter 12. Let me skip around. I'm not doing chapter 14. That's the mapping assets of our Queen Mothership community. That's more of in-ground stuff for those who actually take it serious. Chapter 15, believe it or not, actually covers the tiny home Queen Mothership model, because we want, some of the young people starting off, or some of those who don't want big old houses. Like, we want to have some townhouse element to the intentional community, but standalone residences that are a little bit bigger than a tiny house. But we do, for those who want that tiny house, you may want, that very simple life. I like simple life. I like modest living. But those who don't have family, we do have a tiny home Queen Mothership model. That's all what chapter 15 covers. We talk about how many acres can fit, how many houses can fit on an acre. So we break down that. It's very, structural, mechanical. This chapter is very dry. But we talked about, like, say if you have, 1 acre of land, like how many houses can you put on that acre, and how many square feet is that, right? And so we talked about approximately 14 tiny homes on an acre of land. So say we do have an acre of land. So we wouldn't have more than an acre, but let's say we can dedicate an acre of land to our tiny home Queen Mothership model. We have 14 families, 14 people that wants that setup. And so that chapter talks about that. We talked about the amenities. We talked about, some of the, it's a lot of red tape, believe it or not, behind, like, say, for instance, the minimum sizes of houses under law, that for example, the law prescribes that one room must be at least 120 square feet, and all the other rooms must be at least 70 square feet, right? And then you have your kitchen and your bathroom requirements, so there's a lot around the tiny home construction that I've been looking into. Then you have to focus on space between homes. And we want people to be able to have that community, but we don't want you on top of each other like damn sardines, like the projects or nothing. We want people, like, we want you to see greenery, green lands, green fucking gardens, greenhouses, a playground for the children. You might be able to see some children, and but you're able to see your neighbors if you want to. You want to see your neighbors, you want to see, that's fine, but we want it where you can also have that woodsy feeling, that green botanical space feeling. You're out in nature. We want that as well. So this is for Black Americans, and then again, in Africa, you're more than welcome to use this blueprint. Africans in America, you're more than welcome to use the blueprint for the Queen Mothership, as well as and melanated people globally. You take the blueprint and emphasize it where you are at, whether you're in Haiti, whether you're in the Caribbean. But I did design this for Black Americans specifically, but my people have been, I don't even want to get into the spiritual work, the stuff that has happened. But those who know, they know. But again, this is still for Black Americans. Again, we want you guys to be able to see that nature and to interact with one another. But some of us are introvert. I'm very introvert, believe it or not. I'm a lone wolf. I can go months without interacting with humans. And so I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm just saying that I create my own little worlds. I write. I'm writing 3 books right now. I have the bright idea to write 3 fucking books right now. Do you know how expansive my mind is? I entertain myself. I find ways to entertain myself. I watch reality TV. I watch trash TV like the next person. Whatever, But I have, some of us are introverts, and so we want those who want the tiny home element, those who want the townhouse element. We'll have maybe a couple of townhouses, and we're going to have separate residential houses, and for Black Americans, and we want that nice space. We want amenities. We have a parking lot and garage. We have some parking spots for people. And so, with the tiny home element of that, we want to be very mindful of the land around it. So that's very important. In addition, we talk about utilities in this chapter. I won't read those utilities out here from chapter 15. Oh, another element that I wanted to read this to you, fishing ponds, because, they have man-made fishing ponds. And so I was thinking, like, for our intentional community, we want a fishing pond and they can be a half an acre to 10 acres. I don't think we would have to have 10-acre fishing pond, but we want something that we can manage as Black Americans. And even with the pond on the smaller end of the spectrum, you will need more than one. We need more than 1 acre of land surrounding it. Okay, so we have this pond. We need, generally speaking, and this is in the book. You should have 5 acres of land for every 1 acre of water. Okay, so we may do 5. We might have to get 5 acres or 10 acres for 2 acres. Something like that. Something that we can manage. So you first want to decide on the pond size and then work backward from there. And so we need our engineers on that. The city planners, like we need, and I could do that research, but if there's people who specialize in this stuff, that would be great. But I'm thinking, if we can get 10 acres of land or 5 acres of land, 15 acres, we will find a place in the South where we can do this. The pond will also require some containment system to ensure that the fish remain in and the predators out. So we'll be dealing with that. This can be achieved by fencing off the perimeter, erecting a net across the top, or constructing an aeration and filtration system. And soils around the pond should also be tested to ensure that they can handle construction-related activities. So we'll be looking at that soil as well. Fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides should also be used sparingly. That should be common sense, so that we don't harm our fish stock. So we want some good fish, guys. A lot of us, we love fishing, and we'll figure these things out. I'm excited. I'm excited because I know once we get past all of this logistic shit, once we get past all the regulations from local authorities, and we get past all these things, and we actually just have it up and running, and I'm very good with automation and just that efficiency, and I come up with systems for automation and system based approach to a lot of my thinking anyways. And so I'm just thinking of once we're past all of that, can you imagine the peace and the love that we can have, and the freedom and that relaxation, and the cookouts and the family reunions, and the engagement, the parties, the fun things that we can do, the dancing, the music, the food, the relaxation, and then the dreams that you guys can aspire on our land, land that we own in our intentional community, things that the way we can raise our children, the fun we can have with our kids, the love making, this overall, the things that we can do with one another. And so it's a vision, it's a vision, and it's new. It's something that I obviously need experience with. And, if you can visualize it in your mind's eye, you can build it in the reality and in your physical environment. And that is what is most important here. Whatever you can visualize, whatever you can imagine, you can actualize. And so that's very important. And so this chapter, it covers municipality bylaws and infrastructures. I don't think if I want to read that, it's kind of boring, but we talked about zoning laws and how to develop land and how to create a team of experts. And so we need people that are knowledgeable in zoning and municipal bylaws. I am one person. I want this vision to come to pass. So I will sit and read this shit. I will study it. I will figure it out. But I need hands. And again, once we get past this video stuff and more of the dissemination on the ground level, we can work on those recruiting efforts. But we need civil engineering, architecture, biology, real estate law, land surveying. We need these things, the governance model, and so we're willing to do these things. And so I believe that is it for today, guys. Yeah, because the next chapter we're going to cover is the planning councils. And that is a part of chapter 15, but I want that to be a separate video because I don't like to just dote all this information on you. And actually chapter 16 deals with the subcommittees. And I want to cover one more thing in this chapter actually, because I want to use our time wisely. So chapter 17 actually covers housing materials and making it affordable. So we'll cover that in because we already talked about some of the conventional construction. So I think why not? So I was thinking of cross laminated timber, to build our homes with. That is an innovative building material that offers enormous advantages, believe it or not, such as steel and concrete, like over steel and concrete rather. So it comprises several layers of lumber bars stacked crosswise and glued together with structural adhesives, allowing it to be strong enough for use in large construction projects. Okay, it has much lower carbon footprint than conventional counterparts, helping to reduce emissions. In addition, it's eco-friendly. It has a unique aesthetic look for homes. The wood gives buildings a natural warmth that is difficult to achieve with other materials, adding visual appeal. It also provides superior insulation compared to other alternatives. Another benefit is that this material is modular design. So that allows for customization than conventional construction methods, making it easier to expand or reconfigure your home. So say if you have that tiny home, you want to reconfigure, make it bigger, you'll be most likely be able to do that. For instance, incorporating a large window or a balcony as part of your design would be simpler with the CLT. Remember, that stands for cross-laminated timber, than with the other materials. Okay, and it's easier, to disassemble and be replaced and reused or recycled during the lifespan of the building. So it's an excellent choice for those looking to build sustainably while comfortable living. Okay, so that is another one. And then there's the affordability. Our goal is to make affordable homes a reality by confronting existing models of development. So we talked about standardized modular building system. We talked about how our partners should seek long-term investments like pension funds, future-oriented companies and municipalities. We talked about community land trusts and cooperatives, which will enable more affordable homes to be available and protect the interests of those living in the community. We talked about the monthly price, including all of your necessities, such as your rent or your mortgage, your utilities, your shared spaces. Obviously, that's the common house and your maintenance. We talk about enabling add-on subscriptions, for those, which gives access to sales and discounts on things like your groceries, your entertainment, your transportation, and more. And then we want to give the opportunity to purchase portions of the land or houses. So access to that ownership builds up over time instead of being given all at once. And so in a community setting, this property will be owned by everyone, and those who live there should receive money from its success, right? And so this will remove the need for expansive and expensive down payments, as well as high interest rates, which many first-time buyers are faced with when they get into the housing market. And so that is it, guys. That's chapter 17. And I believe, that's definitely all I wanted to get to you today. And so we're almost done. We're not reading the whole book. We're not reading chapter 18. We're going to skip around a bit. So we're almost done here. And again, I want you guys to start thinking on a serious level if this is something that is interesting to you. Research me. And I'm a very eccentric woman. I mean well. I'm very intelligent. I've been told that. I'm very copious amounts of intelligence. I'm very loving, and I'm very genuine and transparent. So you guys can look at the other material. If you're new, you want to probably maybe get those books, or if not, just look at the information on this channel. I do have another channel. That's the old channel. You guys can look at that information as well. I am a ordained minister, a high priestess. I am self-taught in many avenues, and as well as credentialed in others. But if this is something that interests you on a serious level, reach out. I don't bite. I will get on a call with you. We do Zoom meeting. That's just how I roll. So. If you guys are interested, reach out. Don't be a stranger. And I'm serious about this. I want to do this, and we'll figure out a way. My thing is, you guys are concerned about money. You guys want the reparations first before you can actually get to building community. Come on, like $5 a month, $10 a month. We're not asking for a lot of money here. We'll get this done. We will find a way to get investment. We'll find a way to build, as far as our community land trust and our trust for just for the investment component of this. But we'll find ways to get this done. There are grants out there. We have to be careful when you take, grant money and stuff, because people try to control, because this is something we want for Black Americans. So, but there are ways to get this done. We're going to come together. And so there's a schism in consciousness based on the direction we should be headed in. There's 50 billion of us. I mean, there's 50 million of us. You do what the fuck you want to do. Like, I'm not here to tell you to think my way or do it my way. I don't give a shit what you guys do and what you guys believe or think. It's like, it's resonance. Keep saying it. Resonance with people. For those who resonate with my message, and I cuss a lot, but if you resonate with me, and you guys see where I'm going, and if you guys have that same vision, why not leave it up? And those that don't see that vision or don't care about that, you do your own thing. It's simple as that. And everyone eventually figures it out. And so I am very much aware of the isms and constructs. You can't have built anything, you don't have any money, you can put up places. And you got those that are like, to be for self. With me, I'm in the middle. With me, it's again, it's about the middle way. It's about the middle way. Me, it's about the soul and the character and the heart. And so I'm very elitist when it comes to self-development and gaining knowledge of self and discovering process in the universe and consciousness. I want to build with like-minded souls. I want to build with like-minded people, righteous people with genuine loves in their heart. Because I'm telling you guys, what I've been through for the last 4 weeks, my world and many avenues have been shattered and have been released, and I have been free. And so there's a freedom that comes with the truth, and there's a pain that comes with the truth. And so there's that growing pains. And for me, I always say I would rather have the truth than the solution. I would rather have the light than lies. So, but I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later. I love you guys. Bye.